can reach the other person's shoulder. Be careful. Okay. Now start massaging their shoulders. You guys don't have to massage it. Alright, just like this. Yes, a little bit more. Okay, good job. Alright, before we get started and before we start with the whole workshop theme, I'm going to present to you the agenda for now. We're going to present something to you, share some ideas, share some ways on how to be a better presenter on stage, how to deliver better, how to share something more meaningful, how to come up with writing something more meaningful, and what are the key factors and the key rules that you need to think about when you're writing, especially a TEDx speech, but also any other speech in general. We have a little presentation prepared for you. We also have a video that we are going to play a little later, and at the end we have a small questionnaire. Whoever wins the questionnaire is placed first. There's going to be some cool prizes for all people, but whoever wins gets also a special prize. So pay attention and try to think about everything that's happening all at the same time. If you have any questions, feel free to stop us at any point. Don't worry about if you don't understand something. There's no shame in asking questions. All right, I'm gonna let Sviat take the floor and present to you the team.
So yeah, I guess. So good morning. So let us introduce ourselves, I guess. So here's Yorgo. He's from Albania. He's our president, the president of TEDxAUBG. He's managing everything, helping out, and so on. Here is Desi. She's from Bulgaria, and she's our vice president. She's head of logistics team. Here's Irina. She's from logistics, and she's from Bulgaria as well. And me and Anastasia, we're both from Ukraine, and we're both from PR. So let's move on. So what is TED and what is TEDx? So probably, I guess most of you've heard about TED. So first of all, TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, Design. So in our beautiful design made by our design team, you can see all of the little parts of the TED. The organization was created in 1984, and it stands for, the whole purpose of the organization is to share ideas worth spreading. So the little X here, that's pretty much the only difference you can see, and it means the independently organized event. So TEDxAUBG, we independently organized a TED-like experience here on AUBG campus. So our team, we have 30 people in our team, 4 countries represented, and 6 departments. So as you've heard, we have logistics, we have PR, we have design, IT, sponsorship, and speakers. Our main event, I don't know, maybe you have some friends or people who've heard or have attended our event. So this year, the theme of our event is Escaping the Void. So every year we come up with a new theme, we relate our designs to it, and so on. And we invite people from all over the world to speak on our stage. We've had people from UK, Italy, France, Scandinavian countries, US, and so on. And yes, I guess.
Do you have any questions about our team, what TEDx does, what we as a club do, before we move on?
Did you mention having people only from 4 countries?
No. In our club,
yes,
as an organization, so basically we're students, we're 30 students who are managing TEDxAUBG. So we have a structure, we're like a little non-for-profit business, and we have a structure which consists of 6 departments. And we have people from 4 countries, which is Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Albania.
You're absolutely looking at every single person, whether you're standing in the correct posture. The more you think about it, the more nervous you will get, and the more you will confuse the things. So, the one thing that is very, and maybe the most important thing about stage presence is your confidence. You might not know the exact way to present your idea, you might not be super present on the stage, or you might not like talking in front of people, but if you have confidence, they will believe you much more than if you don't. Because, for example, think of it, if I come over here, then I'm like super shy, nobody will actually get what you are talking about. But if you go on stage, you're super confident about your idea, you can basically convince anybody in what you believe. And the one thing you can actually do, this is a little tip for me, before you actually go on stage, just look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I got this, I know what I'm talking about, I will nail it. This is the one way you will definitely succeed while you're on stage. And then some little things we can talk about. This is Professor Laura Kelly. As Elena mentioned, last week we had some workshops. She's one of our journalism professors at the university, and she's an amazing public speaker. And actually one of the reasons, but whatever it is, whatever you can keep in your hands is going to help you from going all over the place and distracting the people. But as I said, this can also be very tricky, because when you're nervous, what do people do? When someone's nervous, what's the first thing they start doing? Yes, they start shaking. And when you have something in your hands, it's much more evident that you're shaking. It starts making noises, and it's much more obvious for people to see that you're shaking. And actually, once I was at a presentation, and the speaker was so nervous that they had a sheet of paper in their hands, and they just started tearing it up in front of everybody because they were so nervous. And believe me, nobody remembered what they said. Everybody just remembered that they tore up the sheet of paper. So everything that I'm saying right now, all the tips that I'm giving you, they might help you, they might not. You just need to practice speaking in front of people in order to see what helps you. If it helps you hold a sheet of paper like it helps me, just hold it and you're not going to move your hands. If you know that when you get nervous you start shaking a lot, just don't have anything in your hands. You can also, a very useful thing is to hold your hands like that. I usually do it from time to time because it also restricts you from moving, but if I'm shaking you can't really see it that much. And another thing I can tell you is that your gestures should be meaningful. As Jorgo told you, you can't really move on stage a lot when you're giving a TED Talk, because also if you move a lot, like you also seem very nervous, you seem impatient to maybe leave or something like that, and again, people will mainly focus on what you want to, on what you're doing rather than what you're saying. So the last tip I can give you is that, again, with every sentence, maybe not every sentence, because that would also be distracting, but every 2 or 3 sentences you can also move. For example, I can be talking right now, and then when I want to change my idea, I can actually move over here, stop over here, tell you what I want to say, convey my message, and then when I move to the other idea, I just move to the other side of the room, look at another person, and tell them this and this and this. And this is the best way to convey your message. It's a lot of rules, and it's a lot of things to keep in mind, but also, if you remember the first quote I gave you, don't think about it too much. You've talked a lot in front of people. Talking comes naturally to people because we are social animals. So just don't overthink. Keep some things in mind. Find what helps you the most, but just do whatever feels natural to you.
Okay. Because it's basically helping people visualize all of the words you're saying. So here I'm going to present you how non-professional is going to be doing a presentation. I'm sure everybody already done a presentation for a class or some group project or whatever, but there are some little tips that I think would be really useful for you. First of all, exactly like with the idea generation, you have to come up with a goal. Why are you doing the presentation? So you have to know who are you presenting it to, what is the target group, and where it will be used. In this case, you know what the layout of the presentation needs to be, what words and vocabulary need to be used, and so on. Also, look at the layout of the presentation. Basically, first of all, people usually look at the left top corner, which is this, and then they go down. All of us read from the top to the bottom, so you need to keep that in mind in order to know where to place most of the most important information. Other really most important facts about the presentation. Everything we're saying is really important, so keep it in mind. But alignment, consistency, distribution, and symmetry. Alignment is basically, you know, you have the center alignment, the left and the right. you need to know where it's going to be the picture and the text and how it looks overall. That's why I would recommend you to always ask a friend to look at it, or a colleague to check out like how it looks from the side. Consistency is our recommendation would be don't put too much on the PowerPoint. Usually more than 3 ideas. There is no, okay, sorry. You shouldn't put more than 3 words on your PowerPoint if it's something, you should put just keywords. Don't put too much, and it's usually 1 idea per slide, because otherwise the brain of the human is not perceiving it right. And the distribution is again coming back to the picture and the text. You need to make sure that it's not overcrowding and it's not too much, because again, the human brain can't just perceive all of it at once. And just my last probably comment on this, just make it as simple as possible. Again, coming back to who your audience is and what's your point. Just make it as simple for everybody to understand, for everyone to have a connection, to everyone to relate. And it would be more pleasant for the speaker, for you as a speaker, and for the audience and listeners. And that's it.
TEDxAUBG, that applies to TEDx Sofia, that applies to TEDx Sofia University, to TEDx Toronto, or whatever, that applies to all TEDx's. So we are, every year, we actually get our license from TED, and they actually make sure that we follow their rules very strictly. That none of our speeches include the topics that should not be included, that everything is presented on stage properly. So basically, these people create the rules, and these people follow the rules. Basically, the parents and the kids.
Yes, very much like it. This is a parent, the big one. TEDx is a child of TED, basically. And each TEDx event has a specific name after TEDx. So we are TEDxAUBG, because American University in Bulgaria. But some people can be TEDx Vitosha, because they're in Vitosha. Some people can be TEDx Berlin, because Berlin is unique. Each specific event has a specific name that has to be unique to their, to where they are. If it's a university, if it's an organization, or anything like that. And the license is not going to be agreed upon from TED. You're not going to be given a license unless you follow these rules strictly. And they monitor you, they watch you. You don't pay anything about the license. There's no fees, even if you don't follow the rules. But your license could be terminated immediately, and you could maybe not even have a conference for the events that TEDx does. This information or knowledge that you got about TED and TEDx and our conference and how to give a speech. And then we're going to continue with the second part, which is going to be a little workshop game. But yeah, let's start with the quiz first. Everybody pull out your phones or your laptops, whatever you have with you. Make sure you have an internet connection and go to kahoot.it. Sorry.
Why not? Yeah.
Bravo, Ivana. Oh, sorry. Okay, we are starting. First question. What is TED?
No, that's not.
No, sorry, that's not the question. But still, what is TED? I mean, what does it stand for?
That means we have technology, entertainment design, and technical education design.
You have 15 seconds.
Come on.
Come on, is it loading on your cell phone? Is it loading?
There we go.
Yes.
The right answer is technology, entertainment design.
Yes. The T stands for technology, the E stands for entertainment, D stands for design.
Let's see who has the most points till now.
Bravo, Martine!
Where are you?
Where is Martine?
I
What
did
about
next
the other
question.
Martine? Who's the other Martine? Bravo. And Marianne?
Maria.
Nice. Only guys. Girls? Come on! Come on, show them.
Question number 2. What does X stand for in TEDx? You have independently organized event, ideas worth spreading, independent event organization, and independent ideas conference. 6 more seconds. And the right answer was independently organized event.
Independently organized TED event.
Woo!
Bravo, Martine.
The Martines are still in charge. How long should the speech be? 18 minutes, more than 18 minutes, less than 12 minutes, around 20 minutes.
We mentioned it once, so if you were,
Really careful.
yeah, if you really paid attention, you didn't answer.
But let's say you...
Good job, most people.
And Martins are still leading.
Okay.
Fourth question, how many people are in our team?
The whole team, not here.
50, 100, 65, or 30?
Good job, yes. Most people got it right, so that's important. Oh, okay. I see Vanya is coming up. Who's Vanya? Good job. We still have the Martins though.
Which of the following is something you cannot do when giving a TED Talk? Be creative and funny, use factual evidence for your claims, sell your products from stage, or connect with the audience. Remember, cannot do on stage.
Oh, nice. Paid attention.
Yes, you cannot sell your ideas from stage.
Okay. Keeping it strong. Another Martin joined. Okay.
True or false? Political agenda is allowed on stage. True or false?
This should be an easy one. Bravo. Okay. Most people paid attention. That's it. Simeon is up there now. Okay, nice.
Let's see, question number 7. Which of these should be a part of a speech? Ethos, pathos, logos, or all of them?
I said it, so I'll understand now to listen.
Last one, and yeah, all of them should be
That's
included in
amazing.
Bravo.
Good job to everyone. Oh, Vanya. Okay, just a little bit more.
Next
Georgi is up there as
question.
well.
Is eye contact important when presenting? Yes or no?
Okay, everyone.
The easiest.
Yes.
One more? Or are we 23?
We're 24.
24. Well done.
Who said no? Opa!
Next time we're going to present like that.
It's fine. Okay.
Ooh, Vanya, you're
Nice.
getting there.
A little bit more.
Let's see. How should you speak on stage? Read them carefully. Quietly, clearly and loudly, fast and with pauses, or fast and loud. Two more. One more.
Okay,
Yes.
bravo. Yes.
Clearly and loudly.
It's very important that you understand what the presenter is saying.
Like this.
Yes.
Look at Petia. She climbed 3 places with just one question.
Bravo, Petia.
Well done.
Bravo. Last
And
question.
last question. What is an important factor when making a PowerPoint presentation? Adding a lot of videos, adding a lot of text, keeping it simple, or making it complex? It's a circle.
Bravo. Okay.
And
Let's see
now-
who our winners are.
Bravo! And the third
Bravo,
place we
Simeon.
have second place, Vanya. Third place,
Then we had
the fourth,
the 4th place was Georgi and the 5th place was the other Martin.
Martin.
So good job. Yes. Okay. Do you guys want the prizes now?
Yes.
I guess.
Okay. So the 5 people who were the first 5 people. So you. No, the first 5 people. Vanya, Simeon.
Two Martins. Simeon, you gave it to Simeon? Yes, no, two Martins. And two Martins.
No, I need first, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Yes, you need 3. Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, yes. We have 3 months.
You're good. Okay.
That's correct, that's correct.
Because Vanya was also in the top 5.
Yes, one.
Ah, sorry, I thought you were Vanya.
No, one.
I am sorry.
You were right.
Okay. We also have a little something from the teachers, by the way.
Thank you very much.
For the 3rd place,
Come on, Santa.
Santa usually sleeps at this time of the year, so it's a bit slow.
for the 3rd place, we have an extra something. So that's Vanya. No.
No, Vanya
See,
said
no,
one.
sorry.
Beyond.
Vanya said it, no, sorry, Vanya. Vanya takes me right now. There we go. We can share it with a friend and some merchandise.
And Vanya is the youngest.
Really?
Yes. Martin is in his 10th year, Simeon in his 9th year, and Vanya is in her 8th year.
Wow. Wow. Good. When I was your age, I barely know how to speak English, guys. Good job. Okay, and then for the 1st place and the 2nd place, we have 2 cute notebooks. So we have, yes,
Yes, Simeon.
blue for you. There you go, and purple. A round of applause also for everyone. And everyone else is not going home empty-handed. So at the end, just come grab some pins or some pens from UBG as well. And yeah,
I
that's it.
have a little exercise for you.
Yes.
I have 3 stickers over here with our logo that are going to go to 3 people who want to volunteer and share with us something that they think is worth spreading, like an idea. It can be something like a sport that you're interested in. It can be about a TV show or a movie you recently watched. It can be about your favorite artist. Just let's see the confidence. Stand up and just tell us something for like 1 or 2 minutes. I need 3 brave volunteers.
Come on.
Whoever didn't grab the win anything.
Any idea you decide.
Anything you want to share with us?
Yeah.
Yes, let's go. Round of applause.
Woohoo!
Stand up. You can come over here and show us how you should present.
It's not that easy to be the first one, by the way. So.
Yes.
You should have some more there, so don't worry.
Okay, let's listen. What's your name again?
Marianne.
Okay, Marianne is going to tell us an idea that she thinks is worth spreading, so let's listen to it.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
Spotlight.
The idea is what I do at my free time. At my free time, I ask my parents to go to cinema. I love watching movies. I love watching YouTube videos. And yeah.
What was the last movie you watched?
I watched Terminator Dark Fate yesterday.
What is it about?
It's about recreating one of the first series. It was something like that, but the main character wasn't a Terminator. It was half a human, half Terminator. Something like that.
Do you like The Godfather also? Because I see you're with a teacher.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
I watched half of the first movie, and I'm going to watch it soon.
I hope it's not you.
Both.
What was something from The Godfather that you think would be worthwhile sharing on stage?
Or Terminator.
An idea from the movie that you think is good for
You
presenting.
should do what you love to do. I mean, if you love doing sport, you should do sport.
That's great. Does anybody have a question for Marianne's idea? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Mariana actually said something very valuable for TEDx talk. For example, he said you should do what you love. And the way you're presenting, for example, if you have an idea, you can always present about something you love. But also, not necessarily, for example, I personally love football, soccer. So I could present about talking about sports and I could talk about football. But at the same time, if you're into one thing, it's super easy for you. Okay, I want to talk about sports. But if you have a lot of different ideas, don't be scared to, try this, try that. Maybe I'm also a bit into dancing, so maybe I should talk about dancing. So he said something, you should love what you do, so you can talk about what you love. Yeah, pretty much.
Very important.
Okay, where's our next brave volunteer? Come on. What's your name? Dimitar, okay. Mitko or? Okay, Mitko is going to share his idea words
As he
present.
said, I love football too. I'm not the only one, and I'm sure two of us are not the only one in this room.
Okay.
As you know, football is a simple game. Well, maybe not.
True.
It depends.
What's your favorite team?
Barcelona.
So what would you share? For example, you're into football. You like the game. Do you like watching, playing? What do you prefer?
Both watching, playing, but when I play and watch, I prefer to be with my friends than someone I know.
Okay.
How long have you been playing?
Something like 7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years, that's a very long time. So football is something very close to you, I guess, and you love it. So you can talk about that. Like, for example, how did you choose to start playing football? Why football? Why not basketball, volleyball, tennis? Why football?
I just thought about it and I say that's something that I don't know.
Do you play football on a daily basis or do you play it rarely?
I play usually with friends when we can, when the weather conditions.
Yeah, weather is a factor here. And what role do you play? Are you the goalkeeper? Are you...
Defender.
Yes, these things I don't know.
When I play, it's something like when you need it, you are there.
Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense, yes, that's usually how we're games.
Do you think football is just a hobby and entertainment, or it helps you build your character,
That's
become
why
a
something I
competitor?
wanted to know, to say, the football is not only just a game. Football is something to make people believe in themselves and make them connected in some enjoy it. And football is something that can help people. And you see there are a lot of examples when people stop wars and start playing football.
That's a very
That's a
nice
great-
link. Yes, that's a great link of connection, and you've seen in the presentation, we're mostly about breaking the stereotype, being more open-minded, and finding connection between each other. So it's a very valuable thing as well.
Do any of the girls play football?
Because Zelina does.
Elena right here is a football player.
An amazing one.
Does anybody have a question for Mitko's idea?
I do,
Yes.
if I may.
Yes, of course.
How well does it make you feel having a laugh at your English teacher when his favorite football team loses a game? Please. He always does that.
What's your favorite team?
Manchester United.
Oh,
He knows.
I'm from Liverpool.
Okay, okay.
All right, good, good.
Friendly.
It's football, it is.
Friendly rivalry.
Okay, anything else you want to share about your idea?
Yeah, let's hear, the answer to what he thinks about this.
Yes, please.
Hope you can all find me that. I'll say that every football team has his downs and his ups. So we don't have to be worried. Manchester United will be great again.
But it's not Vinto's problem. His English teacher doesn't watch football.
Never. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.
And last volunteer, come on. Girls, you're being very shy today.
Careful.
Okay. Do you go by Simo? Moni?
Moni.
Yeah, mostly.
Moni, okay. Moni is going to share his idea word spread.
So, as you said, like, we should say something that we like doing, or like our hobbies and stuff. Well, I love music. It's just like a getaway for me when I'm angry or when I like just feel like listening to music. I'm almost always when I'm walking or when I'm going anywhere, I always listen to music. It's like, I don't know how to explain that.
What's your favorite band or?
Oh, I can't say that. I have a lot of favorite.
Okay, what's your favorite genre then?
Yeah.
Like type of music?
I listen to all types of music.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the song you've been listening to the most lately?
What would it be? It would be.
It's a lot of difficult questions.
Yeah.
It's not easy being on the spot.
Oh, the song I've been recently listened to is a new song by Dua Lipa, Physical, it's called. It's just very energetic and I like fast-paced songs.
When is your favorite time to listen to music? You said that you listen to music every time you walk somewhere.
Yeah, before I go to sleep, mostly.
Do you study with music?
Oh yeah, I do.
Do you think that that actually can help everybody?
Yeah, it helps me focus, but sometimes when I feel like going along with the song, I forget that I'm studying and just keep going with the song. What is
Do you play any instruments?
Well, I used to play guitar, but not anymore. It was like a long time ago.
What's your earliest memory of you liking music?
Oh, as long as I can remember. My mom used to get me to sleep by playing rock music mostly.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
Do you think, as some people lately, they've said that if you play classical music to a baby who's still in their mother's womb, it will help them be smarter? Do you think that that's
Oh, I don't think so. I think like every person is different, so they have their genres, so they listen to their kind of music that they feel like listening to and liking it. So yeah, I don't think that's an actual thing.
So actually, here we also can see the link. So he's been talking about music so much, it's something he's into.